All right, John, should we get the show on the road?
Let's do this.
All right, John.
All right.
So when I play that little intro video thing, I have to manually unmute my mic because it automatically mutes them
Sure.
so that
Yeah.
I can do the all right while it's fading out so it's not awkward.
I've
I just want you to know the level of attention to detail I go through to get these intros smoothly.
So this was probably last episode, maybe the episode before, but I also looked at it today. I know exactly what you were doing because when I would hear you through the intro going all right, and I look down and I see that I'm still muted, it's like either he's manually unmuting himself or everything he's saying right now is not going to be captured.
Yeah.
And so, it was maybe a couple of episodes ago where you started and it's like mine still shows mute. And so I'm
Yeah.
kind of smiling when the camera cuts in because I'm thinking none of that got captured.
If
And
you
then
can hear it, it's unmuted.
that's right. So yeah, no, kudos.
I've tried to unmute you too, but I can't. So if you want to get in on the all right, then you can manually unmute yourself.
I'm not really an all right guy. I think most people know. If anything, what I do during the intro music, the only thing I always do is match the note of the dum, and I just carry that. I just carry that in, and it's like people don't need to hear that. So
that's funny. This is probably for if anybody is still listening. If they haven't already just tuned out completely, why do we care about the little nuance?
That's right. That's right.
I just, these are the things I think about as we're going live.
Well, and when back a couple episodes when I wondered that and was laughing about it, I listened to the episode and your all right was in. So I was like, dude, he's unmuting. He is 100% unmuting him. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. John, there's only a couple of things I take seriously in life: foodborne illness and saying all right
on
the Jon and Nick show. So
that's right.
Other than that, pretty much don't care about anything.
Yep.
Anything.
That's perfect.
So here we are, episode 6. We are back.
Yes.
Doing this podcast thing.
Yeah. How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I think I told you, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast. So a couple weeks ago, I got roped into running one of the 1-day Hood to Coast. So there's this last weekend was the full Hood to Coast. That's the OG Hood to Coast.
You still did it?
I didn't do this. I didn't do the full OG Hood to Coast. I've done that one before. That's the big one. That's the one that Kevin Hart ran a few years back.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar.
I did it that year.
Yeah.
That's a 2-day event. You got 2 vans going. Mm-hmm. It's not that much fun. There's so many people.
4 legs or something. 2 vans, 4 legs.
You run 3 times. Yeah.
Okay.
And it sucks. I mean, it's brutal. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But as far as it's so crowded because there's so many people that do it.
Yep.
You don't really have any time to get out of the van at the exchange points and talk to other runners and just kind of have fun and stuff. You're just kind of in the van the whole time.
Right.
And so it's not as much fun. So, but Hood to Coast.
I have an interesting story about a friend who runs that every year with a group of their close friends and didn't do it this year.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Is that the story?
That's pretty.
Because that wasn't that interesting.
No, that is. Why are you not laughing? This was hilarious. No, so it's just interesting. It made me think of it, and maybe you have something to add on in what you've done this year. But as you can imagine, with everything going on this year, there's people on 2 different sides, right? With everything. But it was this really, really tight-knit group of lifelong friends. And even though they live in different states, they would always come together and run the Hood to Coast, and it was like kind of the annual, let's get the friends together and do something fun. And something came up where one of the friends was like group text right before. I mean, I just talked to them about it last week, and so maybe a couple weeks ago. So right before the event was like, hey, I don't want to throw a wrench into things, but before I get on a plane and come out there for Hood to Coast and spend the weekend in a van with all of you, I just want to make sure that everybody's vaccinated, right?
Okay.
And he was telling me the story that it was like, as soon as that text came through, it was like, so and so left the group. So and so left the group chat. This person left the group
Oh,
chat. And then
it got
somebody else
awkward real quick.
yes, and somebody else texted and was like, "Wait a minute. Well, I didn't even think about this, but I'm gonna be in the van and we're gonna be sweating and breathing hard and running.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just assuming I assumed the people in the van with me were vaccinated, and it was like so and so left the group." And so yeah, he was like, dude, it just blew up. And he was like, so I just ended up saying, hey, well, okay, then guys, I'm just gonna say it since people are leaving the group anyways, like, let's just call it. I'm not gonna run this year. So he's
Yeah.
like, now nobody's getting together, they're not running this year over
Out
that.
the registration fee.
That's
Yeah.
right. So any concerns or anything like with the people you were with while you guys were running this
Well,
the
so
smaller
so I
version?
didn't so I didn't do it this weekend. So
Oh, okay,
that's
okay.
not the one I'm doing. I don't like the full one, the 2-day one. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hood to Coast is now a brand. It used to just
Gotcha.
be like the Hood to Coast race. Now Hood to Coast is a brand that does lots of relays, and they all end like at a coast.
I see.
Not
Okay.
all the same coast, so it's not the same.
Sure.
So you'll run
Do
like
they
from
all
different
start at a
spots.
place called Hood?
No, 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 no. That's the thing is they
I
all
wouldn't
end
support
on
them
a
anymore
coast.
based on that alone.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like the HTC brand
Okay.
now. And so like the one I'm doing is on September 11th, and I
Okay.
got asked about it. So I'm running with a bunch of the teachers that I used to teach with at RA Long.
Nice.
And they were short a couple people, and they're like, "Hey, are you interested in doing this with us again?" I did it a couple years ago with
Okay.
them, and because all the races got canceled last year, so it was the one before, and it was a
Right.
lot of fun. And it's a 1 day. There's a lot less like vans, so it's not as crowded. You get to the next exchange point, you can get out, stretch, walk around, talk to people. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I've been doing CrossFit, but I have not been running. Like I've only ran like once all summer.
I was gonna say
Uh,
there's some running in CrossFit, but not the type that you're
it's
talking
not.
about.
Yeah, because
It's enough for me.
essentially, yeah,
It's
you got to
enough to make me
be.
throw up,
You're gonna
but
run like 2 8-mile legs at this.
yeah, that's
So it's
gross.
you'll run twice. So
Although I feel like for you, just the other day, you went from not running for a couple of months to like, yeah, just knocked out 11 miles.
yeah. So here's the thing with that is so that was my fourth run, and
Okay.
I did 11 miles, and I'm in I'm in CrossFit shape, so I do a lot of
Right.
squats and stuff. So
You in
it's just,
bad shape is not bad shape for other people. I
and
mean,
that's
you're
fair.
you're fit,
That's fair.
Yeah.
But like the joints, like blister spots, like you got to toughen your feet
Gotcha.
up. That's the hard
Sure.
part. Like the hips,
Okay.
it's a little different. And even in CrossFit, like you're usually on fatigue legs anyway, so you're running, your stride is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you're like the baby deer,
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I've started getting a lower calf strain. So because I've been doing like CrossFit in the morning, then running in the evenings, then one long run on the weekends.
Wow,
And so
okay.
fourth run, did 11 miles, and then I did a couple of just like shorter runs this week,
Mm,
and then started getting a low calf sprain. And so I had to take I took Friday off from CrossFit, didn't do my long run this weekend. So
right.
now I'm 2 weeks out from this thing, and now I'm like, okay. And I've gone into this event before with low calf strains because I tried to get
Okay.
amped up too quickly.
Yeah.
And so that's what's been going on with me is I'm like, okay, trying to find the balance between. And so now I'm like looking at the CrossFit workouts for the week, like, okay, what days I probably need to stop doing 2-a-days is basically, here's the
Sure.
takeaway, John, is that at
Yeah.
nearly 40 years old, I am not in good enough shape to be doing
Well, it's
an
not even just that
intense
you're not in
weightlifting thing and then running in the evening.
I don't even know
So
that it's a matter of you not being in good enough shape. I just think it's a matter of we don't recover like we used to,
that,
you
yeah,
know?
well, that's 100%.
You
Yeah.
can do the thing, but you're not gonna bounce back in 8 hours and be able to go do the thing again, whatever it is.
Right, which is
Um,
the hard part because that's literally
that's
what
the
this event
run.
consists of.
That's
It's so but I'm like, "But I only gotta do it one day." Uh, so
Oh,
it's gonna be brutal, and so I'm trying to be smarter about, like so I'll be either I need to I was like my wife and I were talking, and she's like, "Yeah, you probably need to do either or, not both
right.
on a day." So now I gotta
Okay.
figure that out for next week, and yeah.
So,
But no, I'm not
similar
concerned about the van thing because they're all teachers and it's mandated for them to get
I was gonna
vaccinated
say,
anyways.
yeah,
So
if or they're gonna be unemployed,
yeah. So
right?
I mean, hey,
Very, very similar to you, this week for me. Um, so we spent some time, my wife and I, pressure washing and staining the fence
yeah.
in the backyard. And, there's a couple of things that stood out to me here. One is my wife is an absolute workhorse.
Mm,
And I don't know that I appreciated it enough. But to give you an idea, when we went around, it's been a couple of years and we didn't stain when we moved in. So it's just been bare wood for, a couple of years and it's gotten all gray and just
mm.
nasty with the weather. And so took the pressure washer out there and just started like basically stripping that top layer of wood. And I did 2 panels, which a panel is probably, I don't know, 5 feet, 6 feet, something
Mm.
like that, across. And the boards are, just a little bit over the top of my head. And I would say after 2 panels, my arm felt like it was gonna fall off.
Oh, geez.
Like my
From
shoulder.
holding
Yeah,
the
yeah, because I'm like got this angle and you're going up and down
oh,
and
you're
just
doing it
like
like a paintball.
kind
Like
of, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
that. You
and
see those
because it's
paintballers
the
get it like super high.
this it's like because I wanted to get the right angle at the top, and so yeah, so, I was thinking, "Oh god, this sucks," and I'm sweating already, and I'm counting, and there's, like, 28 panels across the entire backyard, and it's like, "This sucks." Dude, I kid you not, this was earlier in the week. This was probably Wednesday night that I'm starting. Um, I turn around after the second panel where I'm actually thinking, Am I gonna be able to do all of this?" Like, I'm trying to get it done so that it can dry for a few days before I
Yeah.
stain. And I'm like, I'm already looking and counting how many panels there are and thinking, "God, I'm only 2 panels in.
By the
This
time I
is
get this
bad."
done, they're going to be turning gray again.
That's right. Dude, I turn around and Ashley is, like, right on my shoulder, and she's, like, smiling ear to ear, and she was like, "Hey, can I try? That looks like a lot of fun. Can I try?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah, knock yourself out, do what you gotta do." She jumps in, and she's like, "I really, really love this. Can I just keep doing" Yes.
She's
Like, are
holding
you
it like
like
gangster style.
that's right.
Just
Dude, like, I mean, if it's not too far from the truth that you could picture her, like, saying it loudly because the pressure washer's loud, "I really love this. Do you mind if I keep doing this?" As she, like, turns around, and I'm already in the shower. Like, I'm gone. I'm gone. Like, pieces of clothing are, like, leading the way to the bathroom because I've already been like, "You got this. You got this." So I went and was like, "Yeah, knock yourself out." I took the kids to dinner, got her some food, like, and I tell you what, she stayed out there until it was done. I
jeez.
mean, crushed hours, crushed it, absolutely crushed it. And then the next day, not only did she pressure wash the entire fence and the deck, but the next day she took a sander out there
Oh,
and
wow.
sanded the entire deck, sanded the rails, sanded the floor, like got everything. Absolute, absolute workhorse. And then this weekend, I stained, the fence, and, for that, I used a sprayer. I don't know if you've ever used
Yeah.
a hand sprayer. Yeah, sometimes you kinda two-hand it, to get the I wanna keep the right distance and have a smooth kind of operation, um, and I kid you not, man, just from the motion of, like, raising the sprayer up and down this weekend across the whole fence, my back feels like it's gonna crumple at any minute. I feel like an absolute like I'm 80. I mean, I it hurts to move around.
At any
Eh
point though, John, did you say like what Ashley said with the feet? Were you like, your shoulder and back doesn't hurt?
this oh, no. Well, see, that's what's funny. Hers she woke up, her back hurt so bad, still, that she woke up, in the middle of the night and, like, was nervous because it was hard for her to breathe.
Oh no.
And so she had convinced herself, kid you not, this is how messed up, like, late 30s, early 40s get. Um, Convinced herself that, she had a rib out of place and it had punctured a lung.
Just went straight to that.
Because that's what Google does, man. You say, "Hey, back pain, rib out, hard to breathe." Boom, you punctured a lung, get to the ER. Um, Luckily, she didn't wake me up and have me take her to the ER, because that would have been a waste of money. But yeah, dude, we're just a mess. We're laughing about it now. It's like
Yeah.
we're absolute messes, and all we did was, she lifted up a pressure washer gun, and I lifted up a hand sprayer all day, and it just wrecked, just absolute wrecked. So, like I was saying, almost identical to what you're going through, right? Like I have to pace
Sure.
myself because I'm not getting any younger, and I'm just not built for that type of work
Yeah.
um, that frequently. I got to give myself more rest days.
I'm
That's what
built
I'm
for
finding.
thinking jobs.
This, if
Thinking
I had
jobs.
a team of people with like a plethora of sprayers, I would be able to direct them
Yes. Yeah,
and show them the correct way to do it now. But yeah, me being the one out there all day, oh,
yeah. Well,
my body's mad at me.
the whole reason I started doing CrossFit again was because as I'm, gonna turn 40 this year, well, I guess no, right at the beginning of the next year. I always
Mm,
forget. I always think in terms of like school years.
gotcha.
But as I'm gonna be turning 40 in, 5 months or whatever,
Right.
uh, I just think about like how many people throw their backs out just like picking up a milk jug,
Yeah.
like coming and putting the groceries away, or something stupid like that. And I'm
One
like,
of the
yeah.
worst times I ever threw my back out was just bending over to pull a sock onto
Oh
my
my god.
foot. I lifted one foot off the ground and I bent down to like just pull it up, and something tweaked, and dude, it dropped me to the ground and my back was out for like days. It
Yeah.
was one of the worst. I was just putting a sock on.
And
That was
that's
it.
what I
It's
don't want
stupid.
to happen. I
Right.
will inevitably throw my back out trying to like get 150 snatches
Sure.
in a 15-minute
That makes
calf
sense
workout,
though.
right? Because
You know?
CrossFit is terrible for like people like me that are super competitive and like
Yeah.
just like we were doing one the other day and it was I should not be doing this many snatches when I have not been snatching regularly. And of course, like the coaches are really good and I know the coaches and so they know me pretty well too where they're like, "Nick, you need to scale back on this one. Go
Right.
really light. You're not like you haven't been doing this again long enough because it's been some years since I've done it." But still, I'm just like, I can get another, and that'll be the time that I'm like just all stoved up. But at least I'll do it like doing something athletic, and I can live with that.
It's really hard for me, and I don't the part of I realize that it sounds super arrogant, at the same time. It's always been hard for me to get into CrossFit, and, I tried, a few times. We have both have a mutual friend, a couple actually that are really into it, and what I found is that that whole mentality that you have to be, like, super competitive, right, and really gung ho, and I gotta be really intense, like, that's come and gone for me.
Yeah.
I think I mean, honestly, there was a period of my life where I needed that. I needed to have that mentality to get through the Marines,
Yeah.
right? But then when I did and I got out, and it felt like I'd checked the box. And so now when it comes to any of those types of things where I feel like it's this incredibly, I don't want to say macho, I think that's an insult, and maybe take that, but not as insulting as it might sound. But that
Right. No,
whole
I get
like,
it.
do you know what I mean? Like that, man,
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta get it. I just feel like, man, I've been there, done that. I don't have that drive to like, I gotta see myself on the leaderboard anymore.
Right.
I just want to get in shape,
You
you
have
know?
that. It shows up differently in you than it does in me. You have that same psychopath, like the psychotic ability to work really hard at something, but it shows up like for you, you'll push through frustrating, like business situations
Right.
to get to
Right.
the result that you want. Where like, I'm much more likely at that to be like, F this, I'm out. Like,
set fire to it.
yep, just walk away. This is stupid. I quit. I'm going to go
And
run
then you'll
10
go
miles.
crush 2-a-days. That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly. So like, I mean, you have that same kind of competitiveness and drive. It just manifests differently in you now.
That's right. That's
I mean,
right.
I can push through things at work. There's times I have to do that, but like the level, you'll hit a different gear of focus to do that. Like when
Right.
when you were still doing outside sales,
Yeah.
when you were doing the tool rental kind of stuff, and you had that motor where you could go make those extra 2 stops
Right.
on a
Right.
day. Where at that point I'm like, you know what? I've been rejected all day by people. I'm gonna go get a smoothie. And
And then there's some days, right, when you have that day of rejection that, like, the next day you start and you're like, "Okay, brand new day, we're gonna do this," and the first call you make, you get rejected, and you're like, "I'm done. I tried.
yep.
You know what?
Yeah.
I gave it my best.
Yeah. There's a
Tomorrow's
new
a new
show
day."
on Netflix and I'm gonna stream that while I send some emails.
That's right. That's right.
Literally have done that
Oh,
when I was in
yeah.
outside sales. So yeah. It's
I
I don't
get
know.
it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know why. I just like doing hard things. And then I know
Right.
like because I'm coaching wrestling, I know that like I'm trying to bulletproof myself a little bit because like last year I didn't wrestle much with kids because I was too afraid of getting hurt. And I'm
Mm,
like, this is stupid.
now
I can fix that.
yeah,
If I lift heavy things, it'll make it less likely to get hurt wrestling around with people.
and then
So
you're gonna need to be worried to not hurt them.
that's right.
That's
That's right.
genuine. I mean, honestly, that's what it'll come down to.
It's still my knees. My knees are like certain situations. I'm like, yeah, I don't shoot. I don't shoot anymore. I'm just like
Right.
defensive. But even in that, there was like certain positions where I'm like, I could feel my shoulders felt weak. So just trying to
Right.
strengthen that stuff up so I can coach
For
and
me,
have
it's a
fun.
wake-up call that, like, just lifting a sprayer, a stain sprayer all day for I mean, I say all day, but maybe 5 hours,
Yeah.
right? Like, that shouldn't make my entire core feel like, a lopsided Jenga tower. Do you know what I mean? Like, because
Well,
that's what it feels. It feels like just somebody pulls the wrong, tile,
look,
and
John,
my whole spine is gonna
in this
collapse.
day of body positivity, I don't want to shame you, but that's not good. I mean, that's
No, I think, but that's what I'm saying. I'm big and I'm not beautiful. All right, like it's big and it's showing me that it's unhealthy.
yeah.
So, and that's what I'm finding. Maybe I need to find a CrossFit gym
Or,
somewhere.
just like some push-ups or something. Maybe some
Or,
yoga. Do some
do
yoga.
something.
Yeah.
Go for a walk.
Get the Beachbody
How
app.
about that?
You can do some stuff at home. There's plenty of good stuff you can do at
Yeah.
home.
No, for real. Now, did we were I don't even know if we were planning on talking about this, but in all seriousness, we recently got a tonal. I don't know if I told you about that.
Oh,
Have you seen
no,
those things?
I have. I've
You
been
need to come
interested in
over
those.
and try, dude. I'm telling
Digital
you,
weights.
I'm telling
2 of my
you,
favorite things, John.
I started lifting
Digital
again.
and weights.
I started lifting again as a response to this thing finally showing up, and I love it. Of all the things that, like, stupid things we've spent money on, Peloton is at the top of the list.
You have one of those?
We have one of those. We've had one for years, and I
Just
mean,
jamming out with Craig on the
I
Peloton. That's
used
the
it.
part I can't get into.
I used it realistically, I would say 3 to 4 times a week for probably 3 months, and then just was like, "Man, I'm just kinda over it."
Okay.
But I've never, even when I was younger, like, all through high school, I was a gym rat. I just wanted to lift.
Yeah.
And I was able to develop enough of my fitness so that when I went into the Marines, I was capable of running.
Sure.
But I hated running. I never ran before the Marines. I haven't run really after. And it's just weird because now that I've put on weight, it's like everything I try to go to lose the weight is all cardio based.
Mm,
And I've never been into that. So I was like,
yeah.
why don't we look at something like this? We could put it in the workout room and maybe I could start just lifting again and
And
not.
it'll adjust like as you start getting stronger, it automatically
Yes,
increases the load, right? So you don't
dude.
have to like put the
That's
pin
right.
in and remember how
None of
much do I
that.
do on this. That's cool.
You do like 4 or 5 key lifts when you create your account, and it will base the weight that you use for every workout off of that initial ability, right? And so then if it tells me to do a bench press or whatever, I just get the bench in place, I get it all, I push the Bluetooth button, it activates the weight, and then I do it. And if I and it's calculating how much power, like how easily I'm lifting the weight,
Yeah.
and then the smoothness, so it's giving you feedback if you're like too jerky or whatever. And if it sees that I'm doing it too easily, then the next like set that I have, that weight is going to be increased,
Yeah.
and it's going to keep kind of adjusting that. But if it for some reason I'm like, oh man, I'm struggling and I can't get this up, um it will notice and it'll drop the weight so that it'll like adjust so that you're maintaining that. Dude, I'm telling you, I've absolutely loved it. So
That's cool.
yeah, if you're interested, you come over sometime and I'll show you. You can check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to check that thing out. The Peloton thing. Do you ever get over like the feeling of your taint just getting uppercutted? Because like I
Yes,
don't when I was a kid, man,
I
I used to
did.
ride my bike all over all day. Like I lived on my bike. I'd get around and I was
Right.
never sore. And then I remember getting a bike like in my 20s
Yes.
after Tamara and I got married, and I went for like a 5 mile bike ride. And dude, it felt like
Oh,
I had been punted in the taint. Uh
4 or 5 miles.
yeah.
That's
I was just like, oh, and every
um,
time I ride a bike,
dude,
I immediately like
100%.
I get yeah. So
So I corrected that in a couple of different ways. To start, there's no like real great answer because it is going to hurt. Although just to know that it does get better. But what I did was I went on Amazon and I bought a really really like thick padded seat cover for the
okay,
Peloton. But then that wasn't quite enough. I went and got bicyclist like underwear, shorts basically that
that like
also
lifts and
have
separates.
pads. Yeah, they the same padding that you would imagine on a bike, like they have it built into the shorts.
Okay,
And so I'm basically riding double padded, and that made a huge difference. Although, dude, even with that, it still felt like instead of maybe kicking, it was somebody, like jabbing, right? You still felt like, holy cow, I got my freaking tank kicked in. But then I don't know. I'd say after I did it, if we said 3 rides a week, I'd say by week 3, I could do an hour high intensity ride and I wouldn't feel a thing. You'd be fine.
interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's like building calluses. You're
I'm sure there's
strengthening
something to
your
that.
taint strengthening.
Just you take for granted like all the like the
You
functional
taint for
strength and
granted.
muscles. You taint for granted. Like when you're a kid and you just like, you go from being like a toddler walking around like an
Yes.
animal on your hands, and then like on the playground, you're just constantly building your shoulder muscles. Like the functional
Yes.
fitness of a child is insane.
Is
You
insane.
just ride your bike, tricycle to a
And
bike
their
to
and their flexibility too, the
yeah.
the the mobility,
I
like all
don't
the stuff
ever
that we
remember being sore when I was a kid.
no.
And like now you go like I hop on a bike and it's just if I don't have some special biker shorts that lifts and separates, I mean, then I just feel destroyed down there.
That's right.
So
That's
let
right.
me ask you this. When you would go to work out on the Peloton, I'm
Yeah.
really fascinated by this. I'm
Yo, hit
fascinated by
me.
the Peloton culture.
Okay.
Did you, like a douche, call it, hey, hon, I'm gonna go spin for a bit?
No.
I'm gonna go catch my spin.
No.
Or
I
did you
never
say,
once. I'm gonna
okay,
go ride the bike. I'm gonna go ride the
thank you.
bike. That's what
Thank
I
you
would
for
say every
that.
time.
That's the part of like the Peloton, like
Yeah.
hoorah rah culture kind of thing. I just can't get behind is when people are like, all right,
Um,
who's ready to spin with Craig? And
I would I will say that there is a competitive side to that I did appreciate. Um, so anytime you get into, you don't have to do a live class. You can schedule and like I want a reminder. I'm gonna get up and actually ride live with this one. You don't have to. Every class that is done by anybody in that studio is recorded, and you can just go back and just take it whenever you want.
okay.
But so I
Then
did a
you don't
lot
get
of
the live shout out.
You don't get the
John's
shout out. That's it.
here from
That's right.
Washington,
That's right.
getting
And
after
so
it with Aubrey.
so if you're into that, then yeah, do the live ones. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same experience. And so when you do a workout, you get a list next to you that shows the rank that you have next to everybody that's done the workout before.
Oh,
All the users. So wherever you stack. Normally, what I found with how out of shape I am, what I would shoot for is if 10,000 people had done the workout, I want to be within 5,000. I want to
oh,
know
okay.
that even though I'm out of shape and I'm
So
not,
50% still failing,
I'm
but
top. That's right. I'm at least in the top 50%. If I'm in the bottom 50%, like I'm pushing.
okay.
But what I found is not only does it show you that, it shows you who's doing the exercise right now. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
different, right? Because it could be all types of people, but it's like, wait, you know, 20 people are doing the exercise on the video right now at the same time that I'm doing it. And I can be like top three,
Yeah.
and so, and even if you don't care about top three, you could just be going and see that, like, oh man, I'm only a couple of points away from the next position, but you both are doing the workout. And so I found it pushes like, no, I'm not letting you get
Like,
this.
that's it.
I'm taking this.
I'm gonna start freaking blood doping with EPO,
That's
and I'm gonna
that's right. That's right.
I'm gonna spin to win, John. Spin to
So
win.
so that part of it I thought was really cool. That's something the tonal doesn't have, right?
Yeah,
There's no leaderboard that, like, you're not competing against other people. The Peloton really pushes that competitive side better
interesting.
than other equipment I've seen. But for somebody that's like, man, I'm not chasing that. I want to have something I can do that is enjoyable to me, that helps me get stronger, that helps me maintain a level of fitness. I've the tonal is something I can't imagine giving up. Like
Yeah.
that's been worth its money for
Well, and for
sure.
the people that don't know you, they don't know like how psychotic you get when you get into a workout like routine. Like you're the guy who turned your garage
That's
into a whole freaking CrossFit gym.
that's
Full
right.
rubber floored the whole thing,
Yeah,
had
yeah. We did
multiple
horse
pull-up
mats.
bars.
Yep.
Like you had the whole thing. Even had like the wasn't it the glass front refrigerator with bottles
Oh,
of water?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
John doesn't like you don't half-ass anything. You are a
Right.
whole asser.
I'm a
Uh,
I'm a whole asser.
you
Don't
might
half-ass lots of things. Whole ass one thing.
you might go 3 years in between working out, but
But when I
when you
want
get into
to,
it, yeah.
yes. And so you're gonna crack up because it's been a while since you've been to our house, but we turned our master bedroom into our workout space. And so, I mean, you're gonna walk in there and say, "Oh, yep," like that makes sense.
John gonna John.
That's right. We have the Peloton and now we have the tonal, and I feel like we have everything we need. We have weights and
Yeah.
cardio. I don't need to go crazier than that, but that's not to say that what we did wasn't crazy. I mean, that was,
We
an
had
investment.
John, we had friends who were actually like CrossFit certified coaches who were trying to start their own little thing with a few people like out of their garage that
Right.
didn't have as good of equipment as you.
Well, now see, this is the charitable side because one of them still operates a gym for like youth, disadvantaged youth,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say 99% of everything that was in that garage. I don't know that I kept anything, frankly. Everything that was in that garage that you're describing, we gave to them.
that's cool.
So,
Yeah, it was just so funny when
somebody
they're like,
benefited from it.
they're actually trying to do this. They're
I
actually
know.
certified, and you just like,
The
I'm just gonna go buy everything, and
Let's
they're
just
just
do it.
like,
Let's do
oh
it
man,
ourselves. Dude, I had a whole name. I had a whole name picked out. I was gonna call it, ETS CrossFit, and I was gonna
was that?
put it
Oh, embrace the suck, right?
embrace the suck. And then they were like, "Well, you can't call it CrossFit because you're not affiliated." And it's like, "But
Right. That's a
I'm
license,
working
a
out of my own
franchise thing.
garage. I'll call it whatever I want to."
Yeah,
Like, the problem is if I started like charging people to
yeah,
come work out, that's a problem. But I'll
yeah.
I'll
You
put
start
CrossFit on whatever I
advertising.
want to, you know. So it's kind of funny. That was
That was the time you went and did when you like you had people coming and you guys were working out together, and you said you went to do a run and you puked in the front
puked.
yard.
Yeah, just talk to somebody else about this because I have another friend outside of you that also just it's like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna start running again." And they go run like 9 miles. And it's like, what is going on with
John, it's not
your
hard. It's left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot.
with your genetics? And that was the joke. It was like, dude, we did this one CrossFit workout and I hated running. I always have. But I mean, even more now because I'm in horrible shape when it comes to running. And they were like, well, we'll just make it easy. And you basically just will run out of the cul-de-sac down to the corner and back and each round. Right. And you have all these workouts you're gonna do, and then you end the round with run to the corner and back. And when I say run to the corner,
It's
I
not
don't want
far.
I don't want you thinking full block here,
Yeah.
right? This is I don't even think it's 100 yards. I don't think it's a football field to the corner. So maybe I'm running a football field by going to the corner and back. And so the rounds, the workout starts. I do all the workouts in the garage and I feel fine. I feel great. That's hey, one round down. I just got to run to the corner and back. All I do is run to the corner. And on the way back, I get hit so hard from that run that I literally collapse in my front yard and I'm vomiting. And that ended the workout for me. I could that
I'm
our buddy that was with me was like laughing hysterically because he's just getting started. And then what do? It's like, well, like, hey, the timer's still going, so I'm gonna finish my workout. It's like, no, like you do what you got to do, man. Like I'm
I
just
have
gonna.
honestly never puked during a workout.
Oh, that's
And I've
crazy.
done like hard wrestling workouts, like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not for a lack of trying, just for whatever
Dude,
reason.
I
I
wrestled in high school. You don't got to convince me. Like those were
right.
some of the hardest practices
And
for
I
any
was
sport I've ever had.
and I was the athlete who would complain to my coach if the practice wasn't hard enough. Like, great, hey, we didn't work out very hard today. Since we took it light, I have to go do 20 stair loops after practice because
Mm,
like this wasn't hard enough. I just like to go hard and because I don't like gassing out in a match.
sure, sure.
And so it never puked, never ever like sprints, running suicides. I'd
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like, I'd be in the front of the pack, right? Like I wasn't always just the fastest pure foot racer,
Right.
but I'm working as hard as everyone else or harder. Like I'm setting the tone. I was captain, never puked. We were doing something, one of our CrossFit workouts like 2 weeks ago. Dude, I thought I was gonna puke on that last one. There was one last like 100-meter sprint.
Yeah,
And it was like something like we were doing squats or some sort of lift
sure.
and then immediately take off like burpees. And I took off and I was like, there was somebody who we were kind of at the same pace. And I was going to try to put it on him that last round.
Right.
Just like, I'm going to finish way stronger. And dude, I was coming back and I had to like jog. I was sprinting. I was like, yeah. Oh, I was like, oh. Now our gym is in front of like next door is like this like roofing company. And
Yeah.
so they've got in the mornings when we're working out, all of the people who go and do the roofing stuff, all the workers are there and they're loading up their trucks with all their supplies for the day. So there'll be
Okay.
like 30 guys standing out there just looking at us like we're freaking
Just
idiot
watching you.
maniacs
Yeah, yeah,
because they're all standing on the sidewalk smoking and we're just like sprinting right past them. There's like, it's so funny, dude. The amount of times I've almost been hit by like freaking roofing materials
yeah.
as we're running. And so I'm like hauling and I'm like, and I was like, okay, I am not puking in front of these freaking weather guard guys. Like
Yeah.
it is not going to happen. And so I had to back off the gas because I was like, dude, I'm 39 years old. I'm finally going to puke for the first time in a workout. Like, yeah, that was
It's running that will get me to that point more than anything else. But I also have never really had to push that hard until I got older and tried to start working out again. I mean, when I was in the Marines, our physical fitness test consisted of pull-ups, crunches in 2 minutes, and then a 3-mile run.
which the
And
crunches thing is such like, that's such a non-functional movement,
seriously, dude,
right? Like burpees would make sense for a soldier.
100%. I
Like
think
that's
that would
core.
have been one. Yes.
There's no
And I
functional
think we all would
value
have
of
enjoyed it more, frankly.
sure.
Yeah, set a timer and see how many burpees I can do in 2 minutes. Like that's more fun and
Yeah.
active than just somebody sitting on your feet. You cross your arms and you just sit up over and over and over.
Yeah.
But I was always in enough shape that there's a max score. If you can get the max on each exercise, it's 100 points. Okay, so for a total of 300 the possible points that you can get. what they would consider a first class PFT, physical fitness test, is a 225 or better. So as long as you had a first class, nobody would mess, like, you're fine. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You are at the top of the standards that is expected for your physical fitness. And I was always in good enough shape to do 20 pull-ups, which was the max, and 100 crunches in 2 minutes, which was the max. So I would have 200 points going into the 3-mile run, which meant all I had to do was not fail the run, which a failure on the run, I want to say, was like 27 or 28 minutes. And
For
so
3 miles?
for 3 miles.
Okay.
And
So
so
5K.
I would cruise in on average, and they're like calling out, and I'm one of the last ones, and it's like 25, 31, 25, 25, 32, and I'm just cruising. And people would get so pissed because they want to see that, like, that last 100-yard sprint, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
sure.
Really give it everything. It's like, no, I don't, no, I'm not going to. I hate this. And I'm just going to pass, because
Yeah.
then I get my 225 or better. I'm fine. Leave me alone. And it wasn't until much later in life that it's like, now I'm trying to get into shape, and I go run, and I run half a block, and it's like, oh my God, I'm like vomiting my freaking brains out.
Yeah. Well, you have terrible running mechanics, though. Like, remember,
I-
we've talked about this years
yes,
ago, like when you were trying, your feet are out when you run,
I
and
have
so you've
duck
tried to
feet.
pull them
I'm
in.
flat-footed.
Yeah.
I get really bad shin splints. And so that was it's like, if I'm running really slowly
Yeah. You would have
and
to do
awkwardly.
you would have to do so much like physical training kind of stuff to
Yeah.
correct the things just to get your feet, like it's not even worth it for at this point,
And
like
I'd have to
just so
enjoy
I could
it
get.
enough to wanna make
Yeah,
it better,
that's
you
just it.
know?
Like I'd have to do all this work and all this working out just to get in shape enough to do something I hate
I
doing.
don't like doing. I'm just gonna go lift my digital weights.
That's right. Oh goodness. Well, John, we got some listener mail this week.
Okay.
Uh let me switch to here. Let me throw this up. If anybody is interested in sending some listener mail,
There you go.
Jon and Nick show at gmail.com. That's the
Boom.
banner right there. Get that
Beauty.
back on there. And so we did get a couple things. One was actually from my dad. My dad said, listening,
Perfect.
getting caught up on the podcast.
Hi, Dennis.
They put it on their big TV in their
Oh, that's
house,
great.
get in the recliners and watch it. So my dad reminded me of a story that I've heard when I was a kid.
Okay.
So this was when I was talking about how, like, when I would get, I'll say unhealthy, so that I don't get cancel cultured over calling somebody fat. When I would get unhealthy people when I was a barista, when I
When you
overweight
gave
people,
when
I'd
you
give them
gave
like
Yeah,
sugar-free
yeah.
syrup and fat-free milk.
Yep,
Just
yep.
like, that's what you're getting. So he reminded me, he said, hey, remember when my dad worked at A&W, I think it was A&W, and that's
Okay.
back before, like, now they're all like an A&W slash KFC. Like, it was back when it was like a drive-in, like you would pull in and they
Oh,
put the
yeah, yeah.
trays
Kinda
on the table.
like a Sonic, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. And so uh it was back then. My dad said there used to be this lady that would come in, and he always said that she would just like destroy a burger in like 3 bites.
Okay.
Gone.
Right.
And so he said one time he and his buddies are working, and they're like, dude, that lady comes in every day. She eats those burgers so fast. I don't even know if she can taste them, right? Like, it's that kind of thing. And so somehow they came up with the idea that I'll bet we could stick anything in that burger and she would eat it and not even notice. And
Right.
so my dad sends out a burger, all veggies, like no meat on this thing
No
at
meat
all.
on a burger.
Yeah. And she ate the whole thing,
No.
3 bites, eats
There's
it,
no way.
doesn't even say anything, rolls the thing up. Bye, thank you, have a good day, and just totally
And just
destroys this thing.
annihilates it.
Yeah. I think, I forgot to put the graphic up. Where's this? All right, there's the listener mail. I
Dude,
took a picture of this.
Just
Obviously, that's
how
not what the burger looked like, but
man, it's so crazy to me because um I feel like we would know, right? Any
I'm
person
yeah,
should know if you have a burger and there's no meat on it.
yeah, I
That
would
makes
think
that
so.
That makes no. I mean, yeah. I don't know. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and they never said anything, never complained, never noticed. Just look, if you don't notice that kind of stuff, like you need to slow down and take some bites.
Or like they did her a favor,
Yeah.
right? Is
That's
that
what I'm
wrong?
saying with the
Is
milk.
that
Like, don't judge me. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm
listen,
giving a crap about your health.
and look, I'm not saying that this was her because we didn't get all of those details, and so I don't know, but all I'm saying is that for me personally, if I'm a fat cow, right, and I go to a burger place every day because I'm addicted to these burgers, and that's obviously not helping my health, okay? And the person making the food said, "I'm gonna help John out, and I'm gonna give him, a burger with nothing but veggies in it." If I don't know, if I actually eat that and it's like, "Oh, man, yeah, hey, good work. Compliments to the chef. You did me a favor." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? "Hey,
Yeah.
wait, I could just eat veggies?" Because
Guys, are you
that
telling me
solves so many problems.
I like salad?
That's right.
I never knew.
This is okay?
I
All
feel like
right.
I feel like it's safe to tell these stories right now because it is the champions of cancel culture are the ones wanting to mandate health decisions for people.
That's
And so
right.
I'm just saying like, hey,
100%.
look, man, this is the same thing. Like I'm just mandating that you get non-fat milk if your body mass index is out of whack.
That's right.
So
I love that you all are wanting to take health seriously,
yes.
and that's fantastic,
And on the other side, there's people who are suddenly concerned about their long-term health who have never, ever given a crap.
That's
And
right.
and so I
That's
just want
right.
to help you be your newfound concern for your
Yes.
long-term health consequences of what you put in your body. So maybe there should be some people nowadays, some veggie vigilante
So
justice warriors work in these fast food places and just leave the meat off some of these people's
just leave
bum.
the
Look,
meat off.
judgment
Let's
call.
see what
And that goes
happens.
for me too. If I come through and I'm looking a little too thick,
Yeah.
then hey, you know what? Feel free to skip the meat for me. Just make that choice. Okay.
Oh.
Hey, I'll apply it to myself too.
Oh, it's too good.
Okay, we got another one here. This one came in from a longtime listener of the Mad Podcast. David sent this in, and this was a post from the FDA's. I can't remember if this was Twitter or Instagram.
Okay.
But this is the FDA. Okay, it's a picture of a horse, and this is I didn't. It says the caption is if you're not. Oh, I should put this on the
Yeah,
screen
just
for
throw it
those
up.
who are
Throw it
watching.
up. I
Yeah,
can't see it.
There
we go.
There we go. FDA, you're not a horse. Stop
Stop it with the ivermectin.
It's not authorized for treating COVID. Now,
Okay.
So all I had heard about, I didn't really hear about what was going on with this. I heard on a news show that there have been reports of people going to like horse stables or trying to like pay vets under the table to administer or just give them ivermectin. So I've seen some of these funny memes going around about this.
Yep.
But I didn't really know. I had never heard of ivermectin. I haven't really been following this. But so I sent this to you. I said, hey, we got some listener mail and sent it to you. You actually did a little research. And then it kind of like made this not as funny to me.
Yeah. I'm really fun at parties, guys.
Yeah, Mr. Fact Check over here.
Well, no,
share with the good people, John. What did you find on this?
Here's the thing, right? I think if we're talking about conspiracy theorists in general, and I'm always a proponent of question everything, right? Do research, apply critical thinking.
Yes.
But people that wear the tinfoil hats and have the conspiracy theories, I think they all generally agree that this machine, which is the government, has kind of molded or melded into something that's really designed to protect this like power class, and if we want to call it the 1%, whatever you might want to call it, but there's people in power that are making a ton of money. Pfizer CEO, who is now a billionaire after this last year of COVID vaccines, is a great example. But the machine that has been built now to protect these elite forces are going to do it's going to do what it's designed to do, which is protect, and that means push the narrative and the message that protects their interests while suppressing information and the narrative that is opposing their interests. So anytime I see something that feels like it's potentially part of that machine, I question it. I get skeptical.
Sure.
So when I saw that, I'm laughing, but it's like, wait, the FDA posts this? Like, you're not a horse. Stop it with the
Yeah.
ivermectin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, is there anything behind that? Where is this coming from? And so,
It
so I
seems
did.
more like something the Wendy's Twitter account would
That's
post, because they're like
right.
notoriously savage
Yes,
on
yes,
their social.
exactly. That's right. And so I just started looking up, dude. I found a dot gov site that is the American Journal of Therapeutics. And through this study, I got some information. Ivermectin is a well-known medicine that is approved as an anti-parasitic by the World Health Organization and is approved for use in humans by the FDA, by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
By the
It's
same FDA that is
that's
putting this.
knocking it.
Yeah.
It's widely used in low and middle income countries to treat worm infections. It's also used for the treatment of scabies and lice, and is considered one of the World Health Organization's essential medicines. In
Huh.
addition to its anti-parasitic activity, it has been noted to have antiviral and anti-inflammatory properties as well, leading to an increasing list of therapeutic indications. Then on that website, which is the American Journal of Therapeutics, there is a peer-reviewed study done, and it's by a bunch of doctors: Andrew Bryant, Teresa Laurie, Tony Tham, and they all have letters after their names that I have no idea what all these letters mean, but I'm sure it means they've done a ton of schooling to get where they're at. And this study is called Ivermectin for Prevention and Treatment of COVID-19 Infection, a systematic review, meta-analysis, and trial sequential analysis to inform clinical guidelines. And the data sources here shows that 24 randomized controlled trials involving 3,500 participants met review inclusion. And they basically found that there is some evidence that this could be used to successfully treat or mitigate, prevent and mitigate the damages or you catching COVID. And so I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not one of the ones making these decisions. I just think it's important for us to question, and what seems like a logical line of reasoning is that if there are people out there who are hesitant and they do feel that it's because it's this big machine that's just pushing something on us that meets a political, narrative or
Yeah.
or whatever, then it could stand to reason that one of the reasons this message is being marketed to the folks about "you're not a horse, stop it with the ivermectin," um, is because that machine doesn't own ivermectin.
Right.
That
Right. Right.
ivermectin as a drug is widely available, obviously cheap. It's regularly used in low and middle income countries for a reason. And so if there's this cheap medicine available that could help, well, that doesn't help, Pfizer's CEO become a billionaire.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that I agree with all that. Like,
Right.
I
Right.
but
Right.
but but it
That's
does
the other
stand to
side.
reason that
That's
that
the other
should
side.
that's right, that would be what guides those people to think that way. And if that's their line of reasoning, the FDA coming out with a picture of a horse and saying "stop it with the ivermectin, you're not a horse," doesn't help those people. You know what I mean? Say like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. Dang it!"
Yeah.
Like
Technically, the
it's
COVID vaccine hasn't been approved for use on children.
right. It's but
Right.
so
Like,
like it's just continuing the divide,
yeah.
and it's the same thing, the same attitude I had about climate change. Maybe that's a really hot topic to bring up. Get it, hot topic, because
Oh,
getting,
I see
yeah,
what you did there.
jeez. So tough crowd.
I
Um
know.
People that like, if I question, I'll use me as an example. If I said, "Hey, I question the science, like the science involved in the declarations we're making around climate change," it's like, well, no, you're an idiot. Like, the science is settled. It's a fact. 99+% of scientists agree. It's like, well, no, 99% of scientists agree that the climate is changing.
Right.
There is dissenting viewpoints amongst climate scientists, people
On
that have
how much
invested way more than you and me.
people are impacting that
That's right. Like
difference.
these are
Sure.
doctors at that level in that field that are starting to question and say, well, wait, no, the climate's changing. We're just saying we don't know how much of it is us that is impacting it. But the mass, they don't think about that. They don't know. They just see a headline and it's like, no, science has settled climate change. We need to do all these things, and fix it, and it's our fault. And that's kind of how I feel about this, right? Is it's like we're shutting down opposing viewpoints and mocking and making fun of them when questioning, I think, is appropriate if we're going to apply critical thinking to it.
Which is the scientific process.
That's
Right?
right. That's
Like,
dude.
that's
Pet
the whole
peeve.
thing, is like peer-reviewed journal articles. What peer-reviewed means is you
That's right.
publish it and then people try to poke holes in it. A doctoral dissertation is, you don't go and give a presentation on your dissertation. You have to
Yes.
defend. It's called
Yes.
defending your dissertation. So
Yep.
like you have to go make a claim of
Yes.
a new, especially for PhD, it's specifically contributing to new knowledge, new learning, right?
That's right. That's right.
Then you have to go while other like brilliant people try to poke holes in your theories. That's the scientific
That's
process. And
science.
now
And yes.
anytime that anybody questions anything nowadays, it's
No, you
just,
just
you're a
you
science
don't trust it.
denier.
You just deny the science. You don't trust the science, dude. That's a new pet peeve over the last couple of years now. Like irregardless. When somebody says irregardless, drives me crazy. It's that sort of thing. The science is settled.
Yeah.
Trust the science. Like, what are you talking about? Like, science is questioning. If we had argued that the science is settled and we're just supposed to trust the science, we'd still be using leeches,
Sure.
right? To get rid of
Bloodletting.
to get rid of my cold.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me that it's like we're using that as a cudgel to stop people. Like we want to beat people into submission so they don't apply critical thinking anymore, when
Yeah.
critical thinking isn't bad. Here's another fun example. I mean, it's not, but it's an example. Everybody loves to bash, and I'm one of them, Jenny McCarthy, right? I think, who was one of the pioneers of this whole anti-vax
Wait, did you say
kind of
bash or
movement.
smash?
So that's just,
What?
hey, it's tomato.
Is she,
um, uh,
is she getting singled out right now?
well, not right now, but
Do you remember that old MTV show?
yes,
Singled
I
Out with her and
remember
Chris Hardwick.
her and Chris Hardwick.
Chris
Uh,
Hardwick is hilarious, and I've loved his podcast, but I did not watch that show because of his jokes.
well, you remember she was the one that had the whole the vaccines that we give our children gave my kid autism.
Oh, sure,
and
sure.
and that, it's like, okay, that sounds ridiculous, and I think that was pretty much has been now studied and reviewed, and like, no, that's not, the vaccine is not giving you autism. But what I do remember coming out in that questioning, right, in the conspiracy theorist kind of way of her raising all of these flags and drawing public attention to it, is that our flu vaccines had mercury in them.
Hmm.
And there's like, of any study that has been done about mercury in the human body, none of them are good. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
there's no study that says there could be a single benefit. And in fact, what I believe we know is that once mercury enters your body and goes basically up to your brain, it doesn't leave. Like, it stays with you for the rest of your life.
So you're
And
saying when I broke the thermometer open when I was a kid and I played with that stuff,
that's
potentially
probably not good.
it's
Probably not great. Um, and so to me, it's like, okay, yes, was she crazy and out of line in some ways? I mean, probably, from the sounds of it. But the fact that she was questioning and raising attention to it now affords me the opportunity to go in when I get my flu shot and say, I want the one that doesn't have mercury as a preservative in it.
Oh, gotcha.
Right? Like, a good thing can come from people questioning, even if their
Sure,
questioning seems like it's a little bit crazy,
sure.
right? So is it a little crazy that somebody's saying a horse vaccine, not a vaccine, but a horse treatment can help with COVID? Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds
Well,
crazy,
so let's
but
keep in mind,
maybe
so
there's something that comes from it.
the thing that people are hopping on and making fun of is they're making fun of it as if it's just the people who are going to horse stables and like
Sure, sure.
trying to like steal this medicine or buy
Yeah,
it
yeah,
off
yeah.
of some, vet with,
That's right.
with not, unethical vet or something and self-administer it. Right.
Yep,
Like
yep.
those are the people that they're attacking, and 100% for sure. Don't do that. Don't,
But
don't give
you
it
know
to
what?
yourself.
No, 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 no. I'm
Let,
of the
let it,
standpoint of do it, right?
no.
Do it. Do it. 100%. Do it.
Thin the
Look,
herd. Is that what you're,
thin the herd. We live in a world where people are chewing on Tide Pods, right?
yeah.
Because they think that it's fun. Trump made a comment about bleach killing COVID, and we looked up an article from the CDC, and the CDC had done a study, and 4% of the respondents actually admitted to drinking diluted bleach to
Yeah.
try and fend off COVID. These people exist,
Yeah.
right? And the way I think is just let these people do what they're going to do. And it's not even so much about we're better off as a community, because I don't want to, like, I don't really have a thin the herd mentality, but I don't think that we should be. Yeah, I know. A coworker once asked me who my favorite Marvel superhero was, and I said Thanos. He was like, "No, I said superhero." I said, "Yeah, Thanos."
Yeah, he cut the traffic in
he had
half.
it. He had it. He had it figured
Everybody's
out.
commute got like, yeah, sure, sorry your mom just like disintegrated, but your commute got a heck of a lot shorter to work the next day.
But what's happening here, right? With the politicizing and the lines in the sand and the polarizing and the clickbaits and all of that, is that we aren't coming together as a country, and all of us making fun of the 4% that are gargling bleach. Right? We're not.
No, you're
What we're
right.
doing is we're looking at headlines and we're thinking people gargle bleach equals right wing,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure.
Or
Yeah.
whatever we could say against the left. And so now it's like, wait, you're against, you're questioning the efficacy, the
Yeah.
reliability. You're questioning whether or not you should get the vaccine, and you think of that person as somebody that's drinking bleach. And so it's like this amazing awareness or
Yeah.
revelation of, like, I didn't even know who you were. You're one of
Well,
those, and
the
that's crazy to me.
the thing is that people like that gets lost in just like the kind of just stereotyping the different
Yes.
sides is that it's not people with like mullets and MAGA hats who go to
That's right.
Sasquatch Fest that are the ones claiming ivermectin is showing positive results treating
Right.
COVID. It's doctors.
There's
It's
doctors.
doctors
There are
doing that,
peer-reviewed
right?
studies out there,
Now
right?
there
And so what do
might
we say?
be
Are they crazy?
yeah, there
I
might
don't
be some
know.
dummies going to the horse stables, buying this crap off of people and giving themselves a jab of it. And I still maintain, like, don't do
That's
that.
that's
Okay. If
crazy.
we're trying to talk a vet into giving it to you, like, okay, you know what? Go to a human doctor. And if a human doctor says this is going to help you, and then like, okay, then maybe give it a try. But like, uh,
If you're so motivated by your own fear, right, that you are actually willing to go to a vet or a horse stable and try to purchase a drug in a needle that was made for an animal so that you could plunge it into yourself, not knowing the dosing, what it's going to do, like, if you're so motivated.
because you're opposed to the long-term
Right.
consequences of a
But
potential
like,
vaccine.
that's indicative that there's so much more going on upstairs that needs
I
help.
know. I know.
Right? Like, something's wrong, and it's
Yeah.
not, like COVID at that point. If you're and I genuinely mean this, as mean as it might sound, if you really are one of those people that you're so motivated by your own fear that you're going to go to a vet and plunge something into yourself, COVID is the last thing you should be worried about right now.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
so many other things that you need help with. But we don't get to collectively address those things as a unified America if we're continually just drawing battle lines. And it's
Sure.
like,
And it's the same thing that happened with the hydroxychloroquine. There were actual
right,
doctors that said, "Hey, it looks like this stuff helps shorten the recovery time of COVID." And then, then all kinds of stuff. Then that was politicized because Trump mentioned it, and anything Trump says is
that's
bad.
right, that's
Like
right.
if Trump was for the vaccine, if Trump was the president when the vaccine came out, there would be a whole bunch of people who wouldn't trust it,
Dude, I
who are not the
remember
same people who don't trust it right now.
I remember specifically when Trump was talking about the vaccine had received approval and he was really pushing to get it out and approved before his term was up, right? Because that would be a big deal. I remember specifically when he was talking about that and Nancy Pelosi came out and said that she's not going to inject herself with anything that Trump approves. And it's
Right.
like, so you're already back then,
Because the
you're
president is
creating
the
vaccine.
approving, he's the
That's right.
approver of
That's right.
medicines.
And it was something like if anything he's involved in. And it's like,
Sure.
wait, like
He's in the
you're
lab going 2 drops of boron
yeah, this
and
is the same
3 of bleach.
this is the same gal that when COVID came out and Trump was looking at closing borders and then started closing borders, she did a deal in San Francisco, and was like, come to Chinatown, get
Yeah.
on the subway and come to
Yeah.
Chinatown. It's all about politicizing,
Oh, sure.
right? And so it's crazy that one side, well, I think everybody does it. It's this machine, right? This machine that keeps us divided by doing the politicizing on one hand and then trying to gaslight and make the other side seem crazy for politicizing it on the other.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
all this conglomerate that's working against us, and the longer we fall for it, the more they win.
All right. So if you've got any listener mail that you want to send in, maybe you've got a question, a comment, a response to something that us 2 knuckleheads said. Maybe you disagree with us on something.
That's impossible.
You want to refute, rebut, repudiate? That sounds like a word. Not sure what it means.
Get made fun of?
Just know you're going to get made fun of. You can disagree with us all you want. Send an email, jonandnickshow@gmail.com, and we will
oblige.
We'll make like Snoop Dogg and drop it like it's hot. Okay.
All right.
Let's move on. So I'm going to use this just because I really like this little thing, but it's not so much news as some odd stories that I found.
Okay, we got odd stories.
Amusing. But I'm going to play the You've Got News thing because I just like it so much.
I was going to say we should also have a kind of an odd news thing because it seems like you find those a lot.
I do. Okay. Yeah, I'll need to do another one.
All right.
So here we go.
You've got news.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. This first one. This is great. In Wisconsin. Backseat cows spotted in Wisconsin McDonald's drive-through line.
Okay.
Now I'm going to play the video. There's no audio to this video, so don't adjust your speakers. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, you can see this here. Okay, you'll see there's a car. They're zooming in. So this is a McDonald's drive-through, and a live freaking cow
in somebody's backseat.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see it blink. It's real. And they're she's
just showing the cow its future home.
Like
hey, check it out.
What's crazy,
this is where you're going one day.
It is not like a truck. This is not like a van.
With somebody's,
this is
Buick
a 4-door sedan.
And they just pushed a cow in there.
A cow in the back seat. The actual story pretty much just says the person spotted it, thought it was a fake cow, and then sees it moving.
Sure.
Her moving, John.
That's funny.
If thanks.
No, I get
it. Do you want me to?
Because it's like the cat, like the move, but moving.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. They merged the two. That was clever.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, what? Okay, why was this cow in the back seat? Were they taking it to the vet? Like, this is just they didn't have a truck, or was this cow misbehaving? And they were like, "Look, you either shape up, or this is your future."
That's right. You get it together, or we're cutting you up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And what did they get? Did they actually eat a hamburger in the front seat with the cow in the back, smelling, burned flesh?
Or did they feed
brethren?
Did they feed it to the cow? Like, make it cannibalize?
I mean, look, man, as messed up as it sounds, I used to work across the street from is it crematory?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
I think so. Crematorium?
A crematorium? That might be right. I think that sounds more accurate. Dude, you would know when somebody's getting cooked because it smells like straight up barbecue. It smells delicious. No, I mean for real. It's like, oh my God, where is this? Who is cooking right now? this is fantastic. And then you look over and you see the smokestacks just pumping. Oh God, that's somebody. And dude,
the cremation place has, we have the meats.
That's and the reality is, because look, we're all waiting in the same line. Okay,
Sure.
we're all waiting in the same line. We don't know when our turn is, but the reality is, a fun fact, if you will, is that at a certain stage of every time somebody gets cremated, the meat is perfectly cooked.
Oh, jeez.
It is, right? At a certain point, like,
Yeah.
man, that and so I think that cow would go down on some hamburger for sure, because it's delicious.
And even if they were feeding a hamburger to a cow, that's not the part that would offend me. It's that it would be a McDonald's one.
That's and is it really even hamburger?
That's true.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You know? We just found out that Subway tuna fish doesn't even have any fish in it. So we don't know what
The
we're
Subway
consuming
people
anymore.
refute that one. They're like, something is not right with this. Like, they feel like they're, I don't know.
Oh, they did? They're
Yeah, they're like
challenging that?
refuting that. They're
Good for
like,
them.
what lab were you? Like, it's
Right.
tuna fish.
That's the thing. They're like, no, we have to provide the
Yeah.
fish to be sampled. And
Yeah.
then, big surprise, it actually has fish in it.
Here's another one, John. Let's put this up here. This one's kind of more up your alley.
Oh, great.
Video game projected on Las Vegas Tower
That sounds
breaks
lame.
Guinness record.
This is up your alley.
I was like,
so what did they actually break a record for?
The largest
makers of a video game, Garena. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Free Fire.
So you're not familiar with that game?
I don't know how to pronounce if I'm saying Garena right, but I am familiar with it. So if you're familiar with Fortnite, what they refer to that is a battle royale game, which started with Fortnite, and it's actually the concept of all battle royale games, even though the number of players vary. It's you, or either you and a friend or a small group, you get dropped onto a map, and it's just you against other people until the last one standing. That's the concept of a battle royale.
So then Counter-Strike is not like a battle
royale?
No,
it's not. Counter-Strike would be a competitive team-based shooter.
Okay.
And so those are like strict teams of 5 or 6. I don't play Counter-Strike, but that's the concept, right? Think small teams, and it's my team of 5 against that team of 5.
I went to a LAN cafe in Portland when I was in college 20 years ago and played Counter-Strike. Yeah, you would just pay like $10-15 and you got like an hour, a couple hours. You just paid per the hour.
I gotcha. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
And so, yeah, Battle Royale is, and it's really interesting too. Fortnite, I was joking how shouldn't sound like it's right up my alley, and now I'm like,
yeah,
go.
Yeah, I like how you're like, I don't play games
actually,
that much. Let me educate you here a little bit of the history of the video game.
What's really interesting, Fortnite was created, and I backed it when it was still in development, and thought it was really cool because what it was essentially it was a cooperative survival base builder, where it's like you had to build these little bases to protect something. And then when you activated it, all these like zombies and mobs would come and try to kill that. And you had to fend them off by shooting them, laying down traps, whatever.
Ooh, like Plants vs. Zombies. I love that game.
Yeah, kind of. Right. And so it was, it was this really neat, buddy of mine and we played it quite a bit, and it was at one point in their development, they released this addition to that game almost as just like a different fun expansion they were messing around with. There was nothing like it at the time. And it was this, we're taking all the stuff that we had put together, but now you're going to take your guy, and instead of protecting something against hordes of zombies, we're just going to drop you on a map with other people, and you guys are all going to fight. And it's like Hunger Games, last one standing. You still have the base building mechanics. You could still have the traps that you lay down, but it's just every man for themselves, and the last one standing wins. And that took off like wildfire. This thing, it became massive.
The dances, dude, every single like high school dance that I've chaperoned, It's like you've got a bunch of
Fortnite
yeah, it's a bunch of like all the like
Yes.
the nerdy gamer boys who normally would never
Yes.
have danced at a dance. They're all
doing the
doing the
floss and the yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
they're all doing the Fortnite dances. In fact, one of the teachers that I taught with has a YouTube channel. Shout out to Cheeseball Bill, give him a follow. Where like if Fortnite is like his jam, and
Yeah.
so like he does that and he goes live and stuff. And so like students who have him for class will go on and play him, and he just thrashes them. Like
That's
he'll
awesome.
absolutely destroy him, and he's talking trash the whole time. And so anytime he would say something like get mad and yell something, like the kids would snap or snip just that little piece.
Yeah.
And they like turned that into like this meme. And so like it finally got annoying. I was like, guys, stop playing that clip. Cause it'd be like randomly in the back of the classroom, I'd hear my friend Billy's voice all of a sudden, like, are you kidding me? Somebody give me a shotgun and we'll see what's up then. And I'm just like, come on.
Oh, that's
It was
awesome.
just hilarious. So
Dude,
he got like super into it.
It was fascinating to me because we're talking about a lot of money and a lot of talent going into developing something, and they had a clear vision of what they wanted for the game. And all of a sudden, the market essentially told them, no, this is what we wanted, right? They did this kind of outlandish at the time. Like, yeah, let's just throw it out because it's something we could add and it's kind of fun while we're working on the actual game. And it took off so much that it became the actual game. And
so crazy.
And the part that they had been developing, now when you play Fortnite, that's still there, but that now feels like an afterthought.
Well, so that's like
nuts to
GoldenEye.
me.
Remember on Nintendo 64, GoldenEye?
Yeah, of course.
When we were in high school, and you could play the missions, and I think I played like a few of
That's
them.
right.
But like,
right. But that's
I
not
was
what
like,
people
this
were
is
signing up for.
no, it was pretty much just like you get you get 3 other buddies,
Yep.
bring your controllers over, and it's just, just that 4-way like battle kind of a thing. And like the
Right.
multiplayer, that was the first game that I'd really had where it was like multiplayer like that.
Yep.
And you're on those small TVs. Remember when all of our TVs were freaking
Oh,
squares, and then you
100%.
had like your little, and then you get the peekers, like stop peek, don't be screen peeking and
Yep.
seeing where I'm hiding.
That's right. That's right.
Oh man, but so that was kind of like that, where like they just threw that multiplayer thing in as an aside,
And
but they were
that
really proud of the
became-
whole game and all the levels. But I didn't know
Yeah.
anybody who ever actually like played that
That's right.
whole game. It was just multiplayer.
Yes, and so that spawned the whole battle royale, genre, and now everybody.
So there's like PUBG. I
There's
know that's another one.
PUBG came out. Apex Legends
Okay.
is a popular one that came out. Call of Duty now is jumping on that with
Oh, okay.
Warzone, and so they have their own battle royale now. And so this one that set the record, Garena Free Fire. My understanding, never played it, and I never would, frankly, but my understanding is that is the biggest battle royale type game where you drop in and fight other people to the last one standing for mobile.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of games on my phone.
Yeah.
But I have seen that game. It looks to me like a low budget version of Fortnite, which is funny because I think Fortnite looks a little like aesthetically a little low budget anyways. Like that's
Yeah.
the style they're going for. This looks even less in my opinion. So it's not a game I would ever play, but I am familiar with it.
So the record that they set was largest screen.
Okay.
Yeah, measured 46,733 square feet.
See, I don't know.
More than doubling the previous record of 19,000. And then 1.6 million lumens of light off their projector. So that was the largest number of lumens ever created by.
That's kind of silly. That's like that's a second record that you broke kind of by default.
Right.
You have to have that if you're going to break
to
the
throw
first
it
one.
that bright. Yeah.
Right. But it seems to me, and I don't know, this is probably an a-hole thing to say, just because I'm not super familiar with the scope of what it would take. But just theoretically, I feel like that sounds like a really simple one to break.
Sure.
Right? Like just get more projectors, get a bigger,
or just back the projector up 5 feet.
What if they did that? What if they're like, wait, we broke the record. But I think we could break it even more. Hey guys on the radio, can you just back this thing up 3 feet?
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, boom, we got
got it.
10%,
Yeah.
10% added right there.
Yeah,
Um,
so you mentioned this is a game you haven't played. I literally so, like, I hardly ever I used to play, like, Plants vs. Zombies and stuff with my kids when I
yeah,
first got
yeah,
them the Xbox One, and then, like, as they got older and, like and mostly my son plays now, and he got really good at gaming, and I'm like, "Alright, you're no fun to play with because you just headshot kill me, like,
yeah,
every
yeah.
time." Pretty much when I am in a video game mood, the only thing I play, John, is the Super Nintendo emulator that you gave me.
It
And I'm
was
just
the
like, "All right, let's play some Turtles in Time. Let's,
which is
you know
awesome,
you
right?
know,
Dude,
little
speaking
Street
of,
Fighter, Mario World, still great."
so I found this sounds horrible, and I don't know, maybe, I mean, a lot of people are probably gonna think I'm an idiot for this, but what I find is I don't have the patience anymore to, like, get into games for a long amount of time. But what I'll do is, like, at night, if I'm trying to unwind and, like, get ready for bed type of thing, I'll put Twitch on, and I'll watch somebody else play a video game.
Oh, that's
Okay,
funny.
that's what I don't even play them myself anymore, but I still will take time and watch other people play. And I was watching somebody play a game. This was just last night, kid you not. And I was floored. I almost texted you, but it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I didn't want to wake you up. Um, in the chat, as this person is playing and interacting with their fan base, somebody asked if they had ever played a Super Nintendo, and he was like, SNES? He was like, no, I never messed with the SNES. He was like, we didn't even have that in my house. Like, maybe my dad had that in his house when he was a kid,
Oh,
but
man.
like that's not something that I've ever messed. And I was like, what the hell? Like, are we actually at that stage where people are like, maybe my dad had one when he was a child? Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
oh, dude, I turned it off. I felt like, what am I doing? Like, that was the wake up moment. Why am I
yeah.
watching this person? Why am I contributing to this? Um, so
Dude, I
that's
kid you
how that's
not.
how old we are.
Sometimes so my daughter, she had played, I busted out the old, it was on that emulator, but it's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the regular Nintendo. It had the
Yeah, it's
Micro
got it's
Machines
got
game.
Nintendo, it's got Sega, it had Super Nintendo,
Yeah,
yeah, it's got a lot on there.
my daughter and I were playing the Micro Machines racing game.
Yeah.
And that game, man, that brought back memories because I killed hours playing that game.
Yep.
Like the little bathtub level and
That's
stuff that was in the boat.
they're coming out with a new one for the PlayStation 5?
Ah, jeez.
It'll come out on the Xbox as well and probably PC, I don't know, but Liam and I saw it the other day, and Liam really wanted it. And I was like, "Man, it does look fun, and it brings back memories because it's like but it's upgraded obviously
Sure.
to today's standards." I was like, "But they want $50 for it."
Ugh.
And I guarantee it could be the most fun game anybody's ever played. Guarantee within 3 months that thing's on sale.
Oh,
And I was
sure,
like,
sure, sure.
so we're gonna wait,
Yeah,
and I'm not saying no to us playing that game together, but I'm waiting until it goes on sale. I'm not
yeah.
spending $50
Well,
on
it's
that.
funny, every once in a while, Ellie will ask me like, "Hey, dad, can we play some of those pixelated games?" I'm like, "You mean Nintendo?" Like, "What?
You
What?"
mean our entire childhood? You
Yeah, she goes,
just you just insulted?
"Can we play some of those pixely games?" I'm just like, "Okay, you've played Minecraft, okay? So don't be
Oh,
judging
I
my
know,
game."
right? Now
Freaking
people
Roblox.
choose that like it's a stylistic choice, and it's
I
like
couldn't
that's all
believe
we had.
when I got them that Xbox One when they were little, and it was like the most sophisticated gaming machine that's
Yeah.
ever been invented, and the graphics are the most sophisticated of all time, and they're playing fricking
Yes.
Minecraft, and I'm like,
Yes.
"This looks like Atari, like, this is
That's
like Pitfall, like, oh my gosh, Pitfall had better graphics than
I
this."
was I was cracking up because I'm one of the lucky ones that got a PS5, and I got a PS5 fairly early after it had launched. Well, when I got it, one of the games that I was actively playing with Liam was Minecraft. And so it cracked me up that like one of the first games I'm downloading on this PlayStation 5 is
Yeah,
Minecraft. It's
yeah,
like, what are we doing?
uh, alright, I got one more, I think we
Oh,
got
okay,
time for
yeah.
one more of these.
Yeah, yeah, we got like 7 minutes.
Alright, here we go. This guy, look at this guy,
God.
uh
It's like I wanna not like him already just looking at his face, but
It's like he's riding a Peloton. Ride with Craig. Hey. Okay. Virginia man wins $1 million lottery prize
Of course.
7 years after winning a $2.5 million lottery jackpot. This is insane. And here he is.
Here's what I'm curious about. Did he have any of the 2.5 million from 7 years ago left?
It doesn't say.
You know what I mean,
say in
though?
the article, but I wondered that too. Like, was he broke? I mean, he doesn't look well, like
If
right there in that picture. Like, look, I'm not trying to judge, but I'm just saying he would have got non-fat milk.
Yes, but see, here's my stance. If I had 2.5 million from the lottery, I'm gonna look however I want. I'm you know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm gonna do me, and I'm not gonna care about it. But I'm curious now because well, one, I hate that. Like, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong in life that there's people out here winning that type of money more than once? Apparently, what it is we're not participating in the lottery.
Sure.
I'm not.
That's
I
what I
don't
was
ever
going to
buy.
ask was, do you play? Have you ever?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't. I don't buy lottery
The
tickets.
only time I've ever played like scratchets or anything is when I've gotten them. Like, my mother-in-law would buy those for us, like for stocking stuffers around Christmas, just kind of like as a fun thing.
Right.
And so like that's the only time. I have never in my life bought a lottery ticket. And when people are like, Powerball's up to 800 million, you gonna play?
Right.
I'm like, no. Like,
maybe one time. I think the only time that I bought a ticket was when like it was one of those like Powerball's up to this crazy number, and people at work were going to do it, and somebody at work was like, "Well, we got a pool together, and there's 5 of us, and we're all pitching in to buy tickets, and if any of the tickets win, we're all going to split the money." And it was
yeah,
like, "Sure, add another ticket, and I'll jump in that." And I don't think
yeah,
anybody won anything.
yeah.
That's the only time. But I am curious because I remember seeing, I don't know if it was a study, or I'm sure there have been, or there's just statistics out there that exist. It's some crazy high percentage of people that become millionaires through the lottery
Oh, who are bankrupt?
yeah, within like 1 year,
Yeah.
like are
Well,
just absolutely destitute.
so there's 2 things that are interesting in this article that brings this up. One, well, first of all, one is that he won it off 7-Eleven store, Butt Station Road.
Station Road
What?
in Chesapeake.
I mean, look at
Butt
this guy.
Station Road.
It definitely looks like he hangs out at
I
Butt
wonder
Station.
if he did he get both of them from Butt Station Road, or was that just that's probably they're just talking about the most recent one.
Yeah,
Just say
sometimes.
that's
But then
yeah.
here's what he says. Worsham said his winnings will allow him to make some investments and take care of his kids. John,
Great.
if you haven't taken care of your kids with the $2.5 million lottery ticket winning, like, yeah, how is $1 million gonna help?
And
Like, what did you do with the
investments,
$2.5 million?
right, investments, like the dude, I mean,
I'm gonna
man.
invest in some meth. I'm going to like what are
Or
you
just
doing
really
here?
bad or just really bad stocks, right? Like, is he somebody chasing crypto and penny stocks and like,
He bought
you know
Dogecoin when it was 40 cents and now it's 27 right
right,
now.
and it's like, "Oh, crap, what am I
Mm.
gonna do?" And I'm buying lottery tickets, and, "Hey, I made 1,000,000." It's fascinating to me, man. Like, what are they doing with their money? And, it's one of those that I always think about, like, if for some reason I could come into money like that, I feel like we would be okay. I wouldn't be one of the people that it's like I'm bankrupt in a year
Yeah,
and having to figure out how to take care of my kids. Um, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of pressures, what kind of experience comes from, publicly announcing that you just won,
sure. Yeah.
a couple
Yeah. Yeah.
$1,000,000
Not to mention,
and
like, if you take the lump sum, like capital gains,
that's
like
right. Yeah, all of that.
almost half of that's going to taxes.
See, but I've talked to some friends about that are really into investing, and had friends that have done very, very well for themselves, and it's always come up. It's like, dude, if you make $1,000,000 in stocks, you immediately essentially have to give $350,000 to the government,
Yeah.
right? And I have the same mentality with that as I do with this. It's like I don't know what that would feel like. Like I don't know. I feel like I would be sick to my stomach having to write a $350,000 check and just hand it right over to the US government? I don't know, but that is definitely one of those problems that I'm willing to try on
Sure.
and just see how it fits.
Yeah.
Like see if I could get through it some way and if I would be like okay in the long run. You know what I mean? If I could have the million and sign over 350,000 of it and keep the 650 on the other end, I'm willing to try that out. I'm willing to
Yeah.
try it at least
Well, and
once.
that's the thing is like, with that 2.5 million, even if half went away, and then
Yeah.
even if you gave another 5 hundo away, like you
Right.
still had plenty enough money where like your kids there should be some college fund for them.
I know grand scheme of things, $1 million today does not mean you never have to work again,
Exactly. Right.
right? But it 100% means like I'm in complete control over what I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it you know what I mean?
Gives you some
It's
options.
100%. It's like, man, the world, could go bad. But if I had the million and I could, pay off debt and the house and everything, dude, I could go be a barista somewhere and still provide for my family.
Sure.
It's just making responsible financial decisions. But
Yeah. I don't know. It's just crazy though that like I even said this, I think I said this in the last week. I told somebody about like, oh, knowing my luck, this will happen or something weird happened. It was like, yeah, I can't believe that happened either. And I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket. Right. Like, cause it's that whole like, oh, what are the odds? This guy, like for him, if he's like, I'm going to go buy the lottery ticket. Like, I think he's at the point now where he can say playing the lottery regularly is a actual like investment opportunity for him.
that's his
Right. Like,
profession. He's a professional lottery player.
yeah. Like I don't play
That's
cause
what
I'm
he
like,
is.
yeah, it's not an investment opportunity. It's whatever. This guy, I don't know. His luck seems to be a little different.
I have one quick karma story that sticks with me after all these years, and it had to do with odds. I was in. I'm thinking about where we lived at the time. I would have been in first grade. Okay, and there was a weekend where my brother and his friend and I were riding our bikes in front of the house. And all we were doing was circles, just
Mm.
circle loops, just, going one driveway out the other into the street, and you're just riding in circles and hanging out. And I'm riding my bike in first grade, and I remember looking up in the sky and seeing birds fly overhead. And I immediately thought to myself how funny that would be if one of those birds pooped on my brother's friend. And I kid you not, no more than 10 seconds later, a giant pile of bird crap landed on my face. And I mean, it was that fast. And I, of course, ran in the house crying, and my mom was laughing and got me cleaned up. But it was like, oh gosh, maybe I shouldn't have thought, like, what are the odds of that happening? Should have bought a lotto ticket. But also don't wish for things like that on other
Well,
people, because
I,
you might be the one with crap on your face.
I was in Vegas for a work conference one time, and my buddy and I, we just the two of us were sent, and we ended up winning. Like we won a couple $100 in a raffle. Like
Yeah.
they were just doing random like drawings, and
Yeah.
we won, and so we let the boss know, and he's like, "Ah, you guys keep it. You're in Vegas. Go to the tables, have some fun with it." We're like, "Okay." So we were playing roulette, and we were getting ready to leave because it was pretty late, and we still had some money left. And I said, "Dude, this table has hit, I think it was like black, like 7 times in a row."
Yes.
And I was like, what are the odds it's going to hit at 8? Right? What are the odds?
Naturally, it's actually like 48% or whatever it works out to be. But
yeah, so that's what everybody tells me now. Okay? Now
the odds stay the same.
Yeah, apparently it's 50-50. I know that now.
Well, it's like
At the
48-48 because there is a green that isn't
that's
black
true.
or
Right,
red.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time though, okay, now The
Dude, this is you're speaking my language. This is exactly
People
what
were
I do
coming
when I go to Vegas.
people were
100%.
coming around with the free beverages, John.
Yeah.
So decision-making skills were probably not the sharpest they've ever been. Okay.
No way. Dude, I'm with you though. It's like, no, it was black 7 times
7
in a
times.
row.
I know it's 48-48, but
Doesn't
come on.
no, it's
The
right.
law of averages says how
Thank you. There has to be a red that gets thrown in there.
I'm looking at the meta story, but roulette literally happens one game at a time, and it's the percentages don't change. And I'm like, Michael, dude, 7 in a row. What are the odds it's going to hit 8?
That's
He's like,
right.
should I go all in?
Yes.
I'm like, we should go all in, dude. We're going to
Yes,
make
you
a ton
should.
of money. Texas Hold'em style. We put it all in. Black.
Oh.
We get back and we're telling the other sales reps this story. And I'm like, what are the odds it's going to? They're like, it's like 50-50, dude. That's right.
The odds don't change.
Yeah, I know that now.
No, I get it. Dude, that part of me, man, I remember I was in the Marines, and me and a buddy of mine were young and dumb, and it was a weekend and we had nothing going on. God, remember those days? And we're like, let's just get in a car and just drive and just see what we run into. We were stationed in Southern California. We ended up in Arizona somewhere in like the desert, and we stopped at a casino. First time in my young life I had ever even seen a casino, much less been inside one. And so I'm like, yeah, well, let's pull over and go in. And so we pull in and we walk in, and I'm blown away. All the machines and the lights and the sound. I'm like, this place looks amazing. You know, what do you do here? Like, you just supposed to like make money or what? And I remember being with him. He was like, no, watch. He walked up to a machine and he put $1 into a slot machine, puts $1 in, pulls the handle, immediately wins $5. And I'm telling you, that like dopamine hit that I got just watching him was next level. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I reach and I find my wallet and I pull it out and I look in. I literally only have $1 to my name. I'm a young, irresponsible, idiot kid. And so I take the $1, I put it in the slot machine next to him. I pull the lever and I lost my $1. and dude, I genuinely thank God for that moment because I feel like if I had won, that would have been the start of like my downfall.
Yeah.
And now I'm just so against, like, no, I don't want to lose my money. If I go, and I have, so I'm not gonna act like I'm better than or anything crazy like that. Me and buddies, we've taken trips and you go to Vegas, but I'll budget and I'll say, this is how much I'm there to lose. And I anticipate that I'm going to show up and I'm going to lose.
I use the term donate, John.
That's right. That's right. I'm there to have a good time. We're going to hang out.
Like a philanthropist, I'm going to donate to these billionaires who own the casino.
That's right. We'll eat some good food. We'll have some drinks. We'll play some slots. We'll do some roulette, whatever. But I'm not here to try and like make my next mortgage payment.
Right.
You know, and I still look back at that moment and I think that saved me from being like a full on like junkie.
Well, I went back in October with a couple of my old college buddies.
Yeah.
And my friend, first day we walk in, first casino we walk into, he pulls out $100, puts it into a Buffalo machine. And it fricking hits for he wins $550.
Oh,
first machine, first day. Like, we literally just walked into a place, first thing. And I'm like, I'd never played slots or anything. And I was like, oh, these games are easy. Like,
you just hit the button?
Yeah. And they just give you money like that?
Yeah, right.
Why do people play poker? This is stupid. Like, so that was, different lesson learned.
That's right.
Same lesson learned.
Yeah.
A little more roundabout way for me.
That's right.
But all right, John, we're at an hour 40. Should we call this sucker? Good.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. I almost said man podcast again. For the Jon and Nick show, I'm Nick.
I'm Jon.
And we'll see you next time.